Okay, we're back with yet another starring cast member. This particular one might be the most important one of all, at least to me. She is the light of my existence, the most amazing, incredible, wonderful person that I have ever met, my very best friend, the love of my life, my partner in crime, Mrs. I was going to say Miss Cayla Kimble, but you are Mrs. Kimble. I can attest to that. I can, in fact, tell you she is a Mrs. Because I like that and I put a ring on it. Wait, what is it? That's a good intro.
That was a good intro.
All right, without further ado. Okay, I know I just said further ado. It's because I just said intro. So in ado and intro, if you smash them together without further ado, right? Okay, no. Without further ado, we've got Mrs. Kimble. How are you doing today, you beautiful, sexy woman?
Man, that was a good intro. I hope I live up to that.
All right. Well, we're doing this on the back of the big release, which realistically is our story, The Homeless Millionaire. So this is the thing that I've been asking everyone else as they've been coming in here and we've been talking about it. What was the one thing when you were reliving all of those moments? What was the one thing that stuck out to you where you were like, man, I can't believe that, or I forgot that, or what was the thing that hit you the hardest, or just reliving those memories and the moments and the crazy story that is us? What did you pull from those 11 parts when you were like, oh damn?
Oh damn. There's so many times that happened to me. Pretty much every episode. One of the ones that stands out was obviously when we got together and got engaged. You rehashed the whole engagement story, and it was so funny because you left everyone kind of on a cliffhanger. And I remember driving home, listening to it in my car, and I was like, no, why did you stop? I wanted to keep hearing the story, even though I was there and I know the story very well. But it was like I was hearing it for the first time. And that was one of my favorite parts of the entire series was, I don't know, I was reliving it all. And it was so cool. And another moment was the microburst that hit.
Yeah.
And I had totally forgot a kind of a small detail of when our insurance claim was originally denied. And I don't know how I totally forgot about that. And just all the emotions I was feeling, like thinking about where we would be today if had that not gone through.
Yeah.
And just, I mean, those are just a couple of the small examples, but so many times it's just the right place at the right time, or the right situation, or the right team, or the right person comes together and got us to where we are today.
Yeah.
And just seeing it all unfold from start to finish has just been completely amazing.
Okay, so let's talk about our story a little bit. Just because, I mean,
it's my favorite story. It really is. It's a great story.
We have a very interesting story.
We do.
So when you were listening kind of on the other side, because obviously when we were talking initially and I was trying to let you know, like, look, like, you're gonna be my wife. Like, I love you. I think when we got together, I wasn't saying like you're gonna be my wife. I was saying I was never gonna get married again, right?
Right.
I just said that, like, we were gonna be together.
You said, and he actually said the words, "You've never met anyone like me, and I'm going to change your life." Verbatim. I remember that to this day so clearly, and I straight up laughed at him because I just was like, yeah, right. I'm like, okay, well, sure, maybe he's right. Maybe he's insane. I don't really know yet, but I'm sure I'll figure it out down the line. But I was interested or intrigued enough to explore.
Had you ever met someone with that much confidence before?
No. And especially not someone who actually could back it up.
Yeah. Let's talk about kind of how the feelings started happening. When were you like, hey, how you doing?
How you doing? What's your name? What's your sign? It was kind of a gradual thing for me. And I think I was just in denial for a while because of what I had been through previously.
Yeah.
And I wasn't willing to accept that back in my life yet.
It was gradual for me too. It was like a ton of bricks hit me in the face.
In like 2 seconds.
Yeah, I was like, yep, that you are the most amazing person I've ever met. So yep, 100%. And then you were like, no, 0%.
No, it was after I came up, I flew up to Denver to record some songs and work with you guys. And I fell in love with your vision, the team, the facility, just studio life, everything. And we were best friends at that point. And it was just such a fun experience. And then I think when I returned to Phoenix I remember you said, call me when you get back to your boring job on Monday and you hate your life again. And you could be up here with me, but you playing kind of thing. And so I sat at my desk and I was like, F-bomb. This sucks. Like, I don't want to be here. So I texted you right away. I don't know if you remember, but I was like, I want to get out of here. I want to be there. And then I started thinking a bit more about my intentions behind that. And I was trying to tell myself it was completely business related, career related, but I was falling for you already at that point. Just didn't really want to admit it to myself. And then when you came down and we went out for my going away party and everything, and we were hanging out and having a great time with my friends and just really showing each other a little bit more of our emotional side, that's definitely when it started clicking for me.
Oh, well, okay. So let's talk about, we fast forward. Obviously, we get you up to Denver. We start building this crazy thing called KMG Life. And I'm going to be very clear for anybody listening to this. It is a we built it kind of thing. She gives me a lot of credit, which I absolutely appreciate. But they say behind every good man is a great woman. And if she considers me a great man, that could help you understand how I feel about her, because she's even better than that. And I love you, and that's how I truly believe in you every single day, because the way you believe in me it gives me my why. It gives me my secret sauce, my juice. And I feel like I do the same for you.
Exactly. I was just thinking the same thing. That's why our relationship is so solid and so great, is because we feel the exact same way about each other. We love each other. We respect each other. We support each other. We're there for each other. We inspire each other. We encourage the other one to be better every single day. It's not a once a week, once a month kind of thing. It's an everyday kind of thing.
Well, it needs to be an everyday. That's what a relationship is. You can't yes, they're hard, but they're not hard. You know what I mean? Like if you and I are both fighting to be 100% for one another every single day, it's really not that hard.
Right. And what's the quote you say about the 50% and 50% versus 100?
Yeah, everybody says, I'll meet you halfway, or you come this much, and then I'll do this. It's give and take. It's that. No, you know what? I'm going to wake up in the morning and I'm going to go balls to the wall, and I'm going to freaking try to be a rock star for my wife every single day. And it's because I know you're going to do the same thing for me. So if I wake up with anything less than I'm going to be a rock star for you, I know that you're going to be like, bro, like, keep up. Come on, man.
Where are you at?
Where are you at? So let's talk about, because I do want to talk about marriage as it pertains to an entrepreneurship and building a business and all of those things here in a second. Before I get to that, though, I want to talk to you about a couple things as it pertains to the Homeless Millionaire. But before we get into that, well, actually, it is the Homeless Millionaire, because this was one of the stories. Let's talk about what went through your head when I asked you to marry me.
Oh, man, that was a trip.
Did I really take you by surprise?
Yes. And
you not even 1% of you thought, yes.
Looking back, and I know, I wish I could say like, oh, I knew. And no, I had no idea. And it's looking back and watching the video, it is so funny to me as to how I did not know. because literally it's so obvious, but you totally tricked me into thinking it was a company party. And I was like going around like making sure people weren't spilling the beans to other employees. And oh God. And then your parents were stalling me and I had no idea they were stalling me. I was getting frustrated. I'm like, your dad is taking forever. I don't know what to do. We're going to be late. And then will you marry me happens. And
So what's going through your mind right when I get down on one knee, you turn around.
Right.
And it hits you. What goes through your mind at that moment?
I'm kind of reliving it slightly. Complete and utter shock. I just was at a loss for words. And then I realized as I looked around, everybody was staring at me with the whole hee like look on their face, like they knew. And that's why I was like, you all knew, didn't you? And then it all hit me like this whole thing was a big scheme. And just to get to this moment in particular. And then I was like, oh yeah, I should probably answer you. You're sitting there looking at me.
Oh, dude, it literally felt like
probably
100 years.
Yeah, eternity. But it was realistically probably only 10 seconds.
Maybe not.
Yeah, but it did feel like a long time. And then I think my words were, yes, of course I will marry you. Because that's exactly how I felt. How
about when you saw your dad? When I brought him in, because I don't know if I clearly explained this, but when I asked her to marry me, we had everyone at the company there, but I had also flown in her parents, but they weren't there for the initial part because that absolutely would have tipped it off. But after she said yes, I said, I'm going to go grab a special bottle of champagne. Mm-hmm. And I actually went and grabbed her parents and her aunt and her uncle, and I brought them in, and she saw her dad and just
lost it.
When you saw your dad, where were you at?
Well, obviously it's really hard for me to live away from my family because I'm so close with them. And I thought that they would never get to be a part of a moment that special since they don't live in the same state as me. And I was already still kind of like in a very surreal moment. And then when I saw them, it all came full circle and hit me right in the face. Like, this is real. You're engaged. Your family's here to support you and celebrate with you. And it became, at that point, the best moment in my life. Seriously, I get like a little teary-eyed every time I think about it because it's so great. But yeah.
I love you.
I love you too. Should we hold hands for a second?
She's sitting right in front of me. I'm just looking at her. I'm getting all mushy and teary-eyed. We've been through some
all
crazy...
the feels.
Yeah, we've been through some crazy stuff together, but...
We have.
We've always had each other's back.
Always. It never hurts our relationship, regardless of if it's a triumph or a hardship. It always makes us stronger.
Recently, and you're one of the only people, because I don't really show my feelings, or especially when I'm scared or I'm really sad or I'm depressed or whatever. I'm always trying to be strong for everyone else. And I know that there's multiple times that I've really broke down in front of you, and you have always, in those moments, you always respond and you become the strong one. And you don't sit there and cry with me. You, if anything, you get pissed off at whatever made me cry.
Like, who am I going after right now?
But you've always been there. You've always pulled me out of any time I'm very scared, and I owe you a lot for that, because I am the kite and you're the anchor and the string that holds me down. And I just know I am absolutely nothing without you. I mean, you are so essential to who I am, and I really appreciate you. I want you to know that.
Same, 100%. And that's why our relationship is so great, because if there wasn't a kite trying to pull me up a little bit, my butt would be on the ground all the time. Like, I need that push or that pull sometimes to get me in the right direction. Yeah. And that's why we really balance each other out well.
Yeah. We just straight up forgot we were being recorded.
Yeah, I think
into each other's eyes and just talked.
I love you.
I love you too.
Do we have an I love you meter on how many times we say I love you during this thing?
We might like each other a little bit.
Just a little bit.
All right, so let's let's talk about some of the other things in the Homeless Millionaire. So we talked a little bit about the microburst, which was not the most fun thing we've done. Let's talk a little bit about when the whole team was homeless together. What kinds of things go through your mind in that moment? When you've got Ashley crying, or you've got this, that, and the other employees, everyone's trying to figure out what's going on. I mean, people look to you for a lot of leadership. And I'm just wondering what was going through your mind through that whole circumstance. And how in the heck, there's no way you can prepare for that.
Mm-mm.
How did you hold it together? And what was going through your mind?
It was a very interesting and difficult time, to put it simply. Like you said, people come to us for leadership, and it's such an internal battle I was having with going into work and being happy and realizing like what our situation was, but no one could know where we were at, and having to put on a face and be strong and be the leader for other people, and then going home or not going home, but leaving for the night and being like, okay, so where are we sleeping tonight? Like, let's figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very humbling experience, but scary at the same time. And then oddly enough, not scary, because we still had the team and we were going through it together. So in a sense, that was really comforting for me. But I don't know, it was
it's a blur.
Kind of, yeah. But holding it together, the only reason I was able to hold anything together during that time was just the fact that I had you and I had the team. Because we all would talk about it, talk about our feelings, just put all of our time, energy, effort, resources into building the company up to be something that we know will never be in that situation ever again.
Yeah. So looking back and realizing all of those moments when we were sleeping in cars, when we were sleeping in the parking lot of 24-Hour Fitness so that we were close to a shower, sleeping in the studio, and then having the landlord walk in on us and, oh no, we've just been working all night.
All hours of the day and night. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Trying to get this place up and running.
Nothing to see here, folks.
Looking back on what we've been through, because we never know what's going to happen, but now with where we're at and what we've built, what we've experienced, if we ever get into the position again, let's just say that we do end up homeless again. Do you think that we're going to respond the same way? Do you think that we're going to be able to get through that? Because you never know what's going to happen.
True. But the one thing I do know is we have the greatest team in the world, and we can get through anything.
And listening to the story, it's almost, and just to be clear, guys, we put probably 60% of all of the crazy stuff that happened in that story. We couldn't fit it all. We were
it would have been a 30 episode series if we did.
I kept going to him and I'm saying, okay, I'm going to put this in, this in, this in, this in, this in. And they'd be like, oh, well, what about this? And what about this? And I'm going, oh my God, that's why it started out as going to be a 5-part?
I think so. And then it was 6, then 7, then 8, then 10. And then,
Yeah. We like to party, right?
No, I don't think anyone's complaining. Everyone's been, really responsive, and positive about it.
I feel like it was good entertainment. It was good education.
Yeah, right?
We got to connect with people a little bit. People who didn't necessarily know our story. We were able to I don't know, pull back the curtains a little bit, let people know what we've really done to get here. You know what I mean? So let's talk a little bit about starting a school. Because it's really easy, right?
Yeah, no.
What are some of the big surprises and challenges that you experienced when we were starting the school and we were going through that? And what are some of the really exciting / rewarding things that you experienced?
There definitely were quite a few challenges, but that's to be expected when you're building something that you've never built before. Mostly with the state, just going through the hoops of the different requirements that they had that we just didn't have in place yet. And it wasn't, it was just that we didn't know that that's what they needed, a solid spelled out syllabus with certain credit hours and how many hands-on versus theory hours that you have and all of that. But we, the team galvanized together and we knocked it out in like, I think about a couple weeks, got a solid curriculum in place and got all the applications and fees done and paperwork and, had the state come out and do the site visit, which was a little stressful, but
honestly, through that whole process, I actually really welcome it. And I can totally see in retrospect, it was really scary when we were going through it.
Yeah, because we had never gone through it before.
Yeah, we really knew audio. We didn't know how to be a school.
Right.
And so making that transition was actually both easier and harder than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I agree.
But I totally understand why the state makes you do that, because I know that us going through that process, presenting in front of the board, going and meeting Bernadette and all these people, I think it made us a better school.
I do too. Definitely. And trying to think of another. Oh, just with when students would come to us with different problems and concerns, or they would, be absent from class, and we'd have to basically create policies out of thin air because we were experiencing things as a school that we had never experienced before. It's just all growing pains is what it boils down to. And that happens with any business, any venture you would try to go after. Those were definitely the big ones for me.
Yeah, it's kind of like those signs that you see. It's like, please don't swallow this, and it's like
that
a
means
guitar
someone's
pedal,
done it before.
and you're like, how did someone swallow this?
Right.
Like that means someone did that, and they felt the need that they had to put it in a contract. So we've definitely experienced more than a few things from students where we're like, we did not anticipate having to have a policy in place for this.
And I think now, since we have better insight into how a school operates, we now understand why those bigger universities do some of the things that they do. It's just kind of interesting to be on the other side of the fence instead of being on the student side.
All right. So you've got to tell me, what are some of the rewarding things? So actually, tell me this. When you were a young girl, or you're going through school, getting your bachelor's degree, and someone walks up and says, all right, you're going to own a school someday. If I go back to 21-year-old Cayla and say, you're going to own a school someday, what does she say to me?
I probably would have said something along the lines of, you're insane.
Is that even more insane than you've never met anyone like me and I'm going to change your life?
Yes. Yes.
And you're sitting here, the owner of a school.
Right. I always did pretty well in school. I was kind of a book nerd in that sense, but I didn't enjoy school. It was more of like just me thinking I had to do well in school.
Yeah.
So once I was done with college, I was like, I am done. I'm out of here. I'm goodbye. And now I'm here, and I never would have guessed, but I absolutely love it. It's one of the most rewarding things I've ever experienced in my entire life. Just being able to walk in every single day and have students come in excited to be there. And even when we were on winter break, they were hitting us up on Facebook trying to get in because they missed us and just wanted to be in the school, atmosphere. Yeah. What school do you have where your students, like, you have to like shoo them away? Like, they won't leave you alone. Yeah. They want to be there. They want to be around the staff, the other students, the vibe, the studio, the music, everything. It's just such a positive atmosphere. It's so exhilarating.
That's awesome.
And contagious.
It is very contagious. So now that you're a school owner, you're a married woman.
Woo!
Woohoo! Still makes her say woohoo. I'm just saying. And we've bought our first house together. We're building a company. We're starting many more, kind of on a daily basis, it seems sometimes.
Yeah, and all our free time.
Yeah, all of our free time. Sometimes I'm just saying, this is gonna be the year Cayla is going to have a baby.
No. I'm not pregnant yet. People, don't freak out. This is not an announcement. Don't freak out.
Tell me, if we were going to talk a little bit about, if you had a takeaway from listening to our story. Actually, in the other ones, I said a takeaway from the Homeless Millionaire, but with you, I want to do one extra one. Let's talk a little bit about marriage. You married about as pure blood entrepreneur as it comes. Can you tell me a little bit about your transition from, because now I actually really consider you every bit the entrepreneur I am.
Well, thank you.
Tell me about like the mindset shift, the different things that you went through from meeting me and who you were to who you are to where we're going, and just being married to an entrepreneur in that first phase. Like, what goes through your mind?
A lot of things. Being married to an entrepreneur is absolutely insane, exhilarating, phenomenal, the best, stressful, like so many different kinds of emotions and mindsets that I've had to battle with, good and bad.
Yeah.
Just because it's a growing process, going from like the middle class employee mindset, transitioning to an entrepreneur mindset, there's going to be growing pains. There's no question about that. First I should thank you for everything, because I'm two totally different people. When I first met you to who I am today, not the same person at all. You really exposed me to this life and opened up my eyes and had me read books. And once your eyes are opened, you can't look back. You can't go back. I would never be able to work at a 9-to-5 from this point on. There's just no way. And it wasn't really until I accepted self-awareness and vulnerability into my life then I was able to make that change. So first I had to just be really introspective and self-aware of my flaws, of my habits, of my daily actions. And then I had to be vulnerable enough to accept where I was flawed and what I didn't like about myself, and think about what I wanted to change from that point. And then think about, okay, how do I make these changes? And a lot of those was from you, learning through transference, seeing you, how you operate every day. And then also from the audiobooks you had me listen to, transformed my life completely. There's so many good values and principles and business concepts in these books that now I apply to my everyday life that had I not met you, would have never happened. But it's all like every single day I wake up, try to put myself in a positive mindset, get myself all psyched out for the day, do my daily affirmations, write down my goals, all of those kind of things to get me in the right mindset. Because it's literally, if you're not a natural born entrepreneur, it's difficult sometimes because it's a battle. Like sometimes I fight my inner tendencies from my old mindset.
Yeah.
And it's trying to find that balance when I'm really pushing toward the entrepreneur mindset is a little rough, but it's just every single day you got to wake up and push forward. And that's how I've gotten to where I am today in a nutshell.
Well, number one, I appreciate everything that you said. But I think, because I didn't always used to read so many books and listen to all the audiobooks. But I think that when we were starting this company and we were kind of looking for an answer, and those first few times at Barnes and Noble when we were reading, we saw the power of knowledge.
Right.
And then I started on Amazon finding all of the cheapest audiobooks I could get. You remember that?
Yeah.
And I would burn them for everybody I would know. It could be clients, it could be my mom, it could be, you gotta listen to this, it's changing my life.
Yeah.
And I would listen to those same ones over and over and over. And now, I'm up over, I think I've done 412 books in the last 2.5 years, something like that.
You're insane.
I'm addicted to knowledge. I am. But I want to kind of throw it back in your court a little bit, just because I know that if I didn't have someone who believed in me so much that I wanted to make proud, I would not have been so addicted to knowledge. I would not have strived every single day and pushed so hard to try to be, because I'm going to be honest with you guys, I feel like I married a little bit out of my league.
Oh.
And so I'm constantly trying to live up to who she should have in her life, because I want to make her proud every single day. I wake up wanting to make this woman proud. And I know she does the same for me.
It's funny because I'm literally trying to like in my brain interrupt you real quick because I feel the exact same way. Is I feel like I married out of my league with you, and I strive every day to keep up with you, and it pushes me and inspires me in a good way.
I think, and that's probably where our secret power comes from, because we both are each other's energy source, and
Inspiration.
we're both trying to make the other one proud. We can always lean on one another. You've kicked me in the butt when I'm not necessarily being who I can be, and I know I've kicked you in the butt, but we never take it personal. We always go, you know what, I can be better, and I will be better. And I think the fact that you and I are able to fight the battles that we do, and it never comes between how we feel. If anything, the harder it gets, the brighter our diamond shines. And you and I we're one of a kind. I believe that. And I love being the example for other couples. How many couples do we have come up to us say, I wanna experience that?
So many times. And it's so amazing. It's such an incredible feeling to know that I and you and we collectively are inspiring people in that way. It's amazing.
Better in a relationship.
Yeah.
So
we get hashtag goals on our Instagram.
Relationship goals.
It's great.
I just want you to know that the story of the Homeless Millionaire is ours. It's realistically our whole team's, the 5 people who really were there.
Yeah.
But I know that Thor had mentioned and Ashley had mentioned that we couldn't have done it without a leader. And I love and appreciate and respect the fact that you guys give me that honor and listen to me day in and day out and help me execute the vision. But I know I would be a fraction of the leader that I am today without you. You show me how to be a better man every single day. You show me how to be a better friend. You show me how to have better compassion, because I get really impatient. I'm very good with words. Cayla knows this. So there's sometimes when she can kind of read the future. She can see when I'm getting a little too impatient and I'm going to maybe go a little too far verbally with someone, and she'll grab me or she'll text me. She'll say, be nice. She'll pull me aside and say, hey, this is what's going on with this. And she kind of preps it, because I do want to move very quickly. I'm a very decisive person. I'm very alpha, but she can always break through that when the alpha mask, if you will, is getting in the way. When the alpha, I'm wearing it just a little too proudly, you know what I mean? I'm just a little too out there, or I'm aggressive, or I'm brash, or maybe I'm being really aggressive, and it just doesn't call for that. She's always been there to calm me down. She saves the situation. She helps me understand things and see things that I don't see. And I cannot be me without you. I just know that that's true. And when people look to me for leadership, and I absolutely, again, I appreciate that. I do know that there is a very special part of my leadership that is non-existent without you. And that's because you help me lead. You are a leader, and you're recognizing those things before I do. And I'm supposed to be the leader. You know what I mean? And that's the thing that I just love about you so much, because when I need a helping hand, when I need guidance, when I need leadership, I am able to look to you. And there are so many times where I truly look up to you as a leader, as a friend, as a lover. And I am so excited to spend my time, my energy, my moments with someone as beautiful as you. Someone who challenges me, who accepts me for as crazy as I am. We're holding hands again.
You're making me all emotional and stuff.
I love you, honey. And without you, the Homeless Millionaire would just be homeless. I love you.
I love you, baby. Thank you. That was awesome. I'm crying. It's fine. I feel like our engagement all over again. But I feel the same about you. I can't even like speak after that.
Just this chapter 1. We've been together almost 7 years now.
7 years, guys. Can you believe it?
We're just getting started.
I can't wait to see where we take it from here.
I can, because I'm going to live every moment. And I'm going to treasure it. I love you, sweetheart.
I love you.
Thank you guys for listening to our Mush Fest.
Sorry.
But if I'm gonna look at this girl in the eye and talk about our life, what we've built together, what we've been through, there's a lot of emotion in there.
There is.
And
that's what makes it great, though.
That's what makes it great. We're gonna keep putting the Disney fairy tale to shame.
Keep mush going.
Cayla for the win. I told you guys, Cayla for the win. Thank you guys so much for listening to this very special episode with my very best friend. We're gonna get her on here so many more times because this has been great. This is probably my favorite podcast episode I have ever had, and I cherish you.
I cherish you, baby.